Our second scholarship, we have three today. The National Press Club Richard G. Zimmerman Scholarship is awarded to, hold on, David Lindeman of Shenandoah, Pennsylvania, my home state. Now, the scholarship is a one-time award of $5,000. David created and maintained on his own the Shenandoah Sentinel newspaper website that covers Schuylkill County. The Facebook page for the Sentinel has upwards of 3,000 followers. Besides covering daily local news in high school, David was active in his gifted program, Quiz Bowl, and is a member of his band's honor guard. Haley Bianco, reporter with WBRE, WYOU in Scranton, I know a little about that station, wrote David a recommendation letter for the scholarship. It's an excerpt. One of the sites I check daily is the Shenandoah Sentinel. It is a professional site with interesting and compelling news stories. When I found out that high school senior David Lindeman was the only person behind the operation, I was shocked, impressed, and curious. I wanted to know how a teenager was running his own professional news site. So David and I became friends in the field. David's high school does not offer any journalism opportunities. So that didn't stop him. He wanted to learn, he wanted to experience. He created his own website and he learned by doing. When he's not at school, he's out covering stories. He works at Borough Hall and school board meetings, around the clock waking up in the middle of the night when the fire alarms go off, spending hours at Borough Hall, just to get a story that no one else will have. As you can imagine, working on a high school student's income, what income? I don't know. But this will put a few dollars in your wallet here. It's challenging, but look at the work and you never know. The quality of David's reporting reflects that of the professional newspapers and TV stations of that market. That's coming from one of us who's actually earning a few dollars looking at David. Congratulations, David.
Well, he did a very good job summing me up, so that kind of takes up a bit of the first half of my speech. Well, so with that, we begin by thanking the National Press Club and the committee behind the scholarship for selecting me as their scholarship winner, and for the opportunity to travel down here all the way from the Anthracite coal region of Pennsylvania to speak to all of you. In December 2015, as he said, I started the Shenandoah Sentinel as a junior in high school to explore a career interest I had in media, specifically journalism. In the absence of a school newspaper, that's why I started it, and to see if it was something I really wanted to do. Along with that, I held an internship at WYLN 35, and I've shadowed Haley Bianco at WBRE, worked with her on stories as well, and that's what developed the skills that brought me here. Although it wasn't what I set out to do, I found myself filling an ever-growing news void in the Shenandoah area, which, apart from my efforts, it's shown no signs of slowing. In '95, our community newspaper, the Evening Herald, closed. This year is the first year, 140, that Shenandoah is without a newspaper office. I believe every community deserves a community-oriented news source covering as much as possible in that region, not just the negative headlines. And that's what I aim to provide, as that's what Northern Schuylkill County has enjoyed for 120 years until shortly before my time. And hopefully upon graduation from Kutztown in 2021, I can return and continue to provide that community service. I strongly believe headlines like, quote, "The squad terrorizes residents," that was a real one after a Shenandoah council meeting, believe it or not. Usually, they don't improve newspaper sales, the negative headlines. However, headlines like "Corrosis leads Shenandoah's Little League victory" do improve newspaper sales and any sort of reach for journalism because they're positive things. That's what people want to see. With that being said, I'd like to quote the late Babe Conroy in his last Conroy's Corner column in the final Evening Herald in '95. As sports editor, I was glad that I never became so jaded that I didn't realize how much it meant to a kid to see his name in the paper. Before I conclude, there are quite a few people I have to thank, because if it wasn't for them, I would not be here at all. First, I literally wouldn't be here without her, my mother, Sherry Streeter. She's my #1 supporter, my chauffeur, my backup photographer, you name it, she's done it. Thank you, Mom. Next is Kent Steinmetz, a community leader who's also an avid supporter. And when I was scrambling to find a way from Shenandoah to here, he stepped up and he did not hesitate one bit to get me down here. Deborah and Andy Ulickney, both of Shenandoah Heights, they've been instrumental in a lot of opportunities I've had, including college, that sort of thing. And if it weren't for them, I would never have been able to intern at WYLN. They got me to and from and made that possible. That leads me to WYLN. Owners Joe and Pat Yans, former news director Ann Gallenly, current news director Gary Perna, and their chief videographer Mike Lula for that internship opportunity because it taught me pretty much all I know about covering news out in the field. Special thanks to Mike for being a mentor to me while I was there and, quote, talking my ear off to teach me what he knew. Next is another local TV station based out of Wilkes-Barre, WBRE-TV, and their Schuylkill County reporter Haley Bianco, as mentioned. And she found out about me and has pretty much been another mentor, working with me on stories and letting me shower. Next is the Mahoney City Coal Cracker Youth newspaper, with the founder and president Christopher Malsky and their project coordinator Leslie Richardson for allowing me to join their paper as a writer-photographer, providing experience working with an editor and publisher instead of as one. The boroughs of Shenandoah, Ashland, Mahoney City, Girardville, Frackville, Ringtown, Gilberton, the surrounding townships Butler, Mahoney, West Mahoney, Union, East Union, and North Union. I'm fortunate to serve some of the most supportive, tight-knit communities in eastern PA, maybe even the whole country, and it's been an honor and a privilege to serve them and have their support. Without them, the Sentinel wouldn't be where it is today. I wouldn't be here today, and my news reports would go nowhere. There'd be nobody to read them if it weren't for them. And I'd like to extend thanks to anybody who may have inadvertently witnessed, and I'd like to again thank the Scholarship Committee, the National Press Club, and all of you for listening to me, and the National Press Club and Scholarship Committee for the opportunity to be here and speak to you. Thank you.
What did you ask me when you came in tonight? Remember?
I don't believe.
He asked me where could he put his gear.
Oh yeah, I have a camera back here because I'm covering this for the Sentinel. Yeah, that's why I'm wearing this.
He's ready to go. He's ready to hire our scholarship recipients. Yeah, wow, he comes from a part of my state that we call coal cracker country. It produced the likes of both Governors Casey and current Senator Casey. If you follow the business closely, if any ties to New York, or if you spend any time watching local DC television, for a long time there was an anchor named Michael Gargiulo at WTGG, Fox 5. Before he came to TGG, where I worked at one point, Michael worked at WBRE. So things are possible, David. Things are possible. Now he's in New York at NBC, working at the NBC affiliate in New York. So great things to come from our scholarship winners. Our last scholarship winner